Hello everybody, welcome to The Warp. I'm Jack Reedy with Future Pastimes, and this is the second video in a series that is showcasing the special systems for the proposed 8th expansion to Cosmic Encounter that Fantasy Flight Games has ultimately decided to pass on. So they're not going to publish this, but after a couple of years of play testing it and having a blast using it, decided to at least show everybody, all the Cosmic fans out there who were interested in it. So the first video, there's a link in the description that covers the first 7 of 42 different special systems. And this was the reimagining of the classic Reverse Hex Systems expansion 9 from the Eon edition, which was also part of the base game in the Mayfair edition. So it was one of the things as a Cosmic Encounter completist I've always been looking forward to. So I know that I'm especially disappointed that this will not get published, but I've printed out the system cards, and I'm slowly creating the components so that I can have a physical version of this to enjoy. And I do have it in Tabletop Simulator, which eventually we will release to the public at large so that they can at least play with it and see what they think. So we're going to cover 7 more systems in no particular order, and I'll kind of go through the layout of the system cards and talk about how they work. So we're going to start off with something I call the Rose Quartz system. And as you can look at the card, there's going to be the name of the system. There is some flavor art, and this is all original art that my son Locken did. He was hired by Gale Force 9 to do the planet art for Dune Expansion 3, the Echasm More Tiny expansion, which has the homeworlds. And so I asked him if he was interested in doing some art for this, if nothing else for the playtesting. Underneath the name, there's a diagram that shows you how to arrange your planets along with any other components that are part of that system. This one does not have any additional components. And the top line here of the body shows you how to distribute your ship so it's evenly distributed, which is a normal setup. It also gives you any information about how you maintain your alien powers. So here, as long as you have 3 of your player color or 3 rose quartz planets, you still have your power. So, and then finally, a little alert level. So this is kind of a medium alert. It possibly could have been a green alert, but that's how it works. At the bottom, there's a little bit of pertinent information having to do with what phase and as what player. This one is a little all over the place though. So the way it works is you're going to start off with, you have these 5 rose quartz planets, which you're going to put 1 in each other system as evenly as possible. So I've got a 7-player game set up here, so and you can put them in whichever planets you want, and you can know what the other systems are when you're doing this. So they've opted to put them in all of the other systems, but not in orange and not in purple. Orange, actually, they did put it in orange because they don't put one in their own system. It's another player system. And there's going to be 3 Rose Quartz Destiny cards that get shuffled in along with your player color. And the way it works is if these planets can only be attacked if a player has either drawn a Rose Quartz Destiny card, in which they can target anyone that they want, or if they've drawn their own color, they can target a Rose Quartz planet. But anytime a Rose Quartz planet is targeted, the Rose Quartz player is going to be the defense. And what happens is if they win an encounter where they're defending the planet, even if they have no ships there, if they win, they get to put up to 4 of their ships from any of their colonies onto that planet, and that will count as a foreign colony for them. So this is a way for them to get a foreign colony as the defense. Now, other players, if they are targeting a Rose Quartz planet in their own system and they get a colony, that's going to be a home colony for them. So they're maybe not as interested in doing that. If blue is the offense and they draw a Rose Quartz Destiny card, they can target one of these other ones, and of course they'll be encountering Rose Quartz player, not the yellow player in this case. But this would count as a foreign colony for blue in this case. But one of the reasons why players may want to actually try to get a colony on their own planet is because when the Rose Quartz player draws their own Rose Quartz Destiny cards, they get to just occupy any empty rose quartz planet, and then the encounter is over, and that's basically a free foreign colony for them. So they want to try to fill those up as quickly as possible, and try to at least make the rose quartz player work for it. So that's how that one. And so I started with that one because I wanted to be able to explain the presence of these other planets in other people's systems. And for those of you who have managed to get a hold of the pink ships, they're pink translucent ships. So this is not a great representation of them, but and of course there's more than 20. But at Escape Velocity and a few other cons, we have been giving out the pink ships, and this is kind of a backdoor way into getting a pink player color, the full player color. So you'd be getting the 5 planets, you'd be getting the 3 Destiny cards, and we'd somehow find a way to add this in there as well, the colony marker, so that you can have basically a 9th full player. So if you're not using the rose quartz system, then you can say, yeah, I'm going to be playing as pink. I guess you could be playing. Well, you wouldn't want to do that because, again, the rose quartz one is supposed to be the rose quartz Destiny is supposed to be added in addition to your own Destiny cards, making the Destiny deck a little bit thicker and making it a little bit harder for the rose quartz player to just draw those Destiny cards. So that is the rose quartz system. And I guess actually, now that I see it, because of how TTS puts the stuff on the side there, I got to actually move these over here so they make sense, because the red player is rose quartz. And so we will go clockwise around to the next system, and that is the Desolate system. So this is one that I believe was made up by Bill Martinson, and I thought it was a pretty nifty idea. So when you're trying to get to 42 special systems, I was looking at all of the other sources out there to see what were good ideas. And so this one, it does have some setup. I should probably amend that so that you can tell there's little tokens that are going to go on the planets, because you're going to start off with these tokens have a dark side and a light side. You're going to start with the dark side on each planet, evenly distributed, and 3 planets. This is also kind of a yellow alert 1. And the way it works is when other players get a colony on a planet with a dark token, this colony does not actually advance your score. So you would not move up 1 because it's too desolate. It's too there's too much desolation. It's not a proper colony. So what happens is each regroup, the offense can spend a card to start terraforming a desolated planet or finish terraforming. And so you would start by, let's say, as the offense here in your regroup, you're going to spend a card to be able to flip this to the light side. And that way it is a partially terraformed. Still doesn't count. But the next time that you can remove the token, then this would count. And so this is a system that is going to foster some cooperation. It's going to be a lot of people they're going to want to bring along allies so that these players can terraform together. Because let's say it's Red's second encounter, and their first one, Rose Quartz got a free colony, over there, or whatever they did. And their second one, they don't have the benefit of the regroup here. Or even if they did, say, all right, they started this. They're looking for the yellow player to spend a card to complete this so that they all get to move up on there. So it's slow going, but it does tend to force players to try to get foreign colonies together so that they can work together to get rid of those. Now, spend a card, what does that mean? Well, it means that that you're going to, as the Desolation player, you are going to draw a random card from that player's hand and either discard it or add it to your hand. So it's not just the offense. That's from the offense. So let's say that purple is bringing some ships along here. And they're like, all right, I want to start terraforming this. Then this Desolation, the Desolate system player will be drawing a card at random from purple, and then they get to see what it is and go, oh yeah, that's good, I'm going to add it to my hand, or like, no thanks, I'm going to discard that. So, and then they get to flip that token. It wouldn't be this one, it would be this one. It'd be like, all right, now we get to remove that one. So there's a little bit of a deterrent here. People aren't necessarily that interested in getting colonies on these planets, especially late in the game where they're like, oh, it's going to take a while. It might take a few encounters before we can fully terraform that planet. But when they do go for it, they're probably going to want to bring other people along just to make it easier to do that. And that, of course, gets trickier the later in the game if everybody is not evenly matched here in the colony count. So I really enjoy the Desolate system. I think it had some really interesting gameplay to Cosmic. So that is how that one works. Our next one is the Kilonova system. So this one is no components on this one either, evenly distributed, and 3 planets. So whenever you lose an encounter in your home system or as a main player, you're going to merge the targeted planet with another planet in your system with no foreign colonies on it by stacking them. So let's say that purple wins here, and we're going to unlock that. So yellow would lose their ships, but then you'd be like, we're going to merge this planet. Oh, I guess I didn't unlock it. We're going to merge this planet with this one over here, and so purple gets their foreign colony still. But what happens is the number of foreign colonies you need to win the game is equal to the number of home planets in your system. So now there's only 4. Now this one doesn't really count as a home planet unless yellow is occupying it. So that's kind of how the rules for this sort of thing would work. Stuff that's added in there doesn't count as a home planet unless specifically stated that it does. And here, it wouldn't count as a home colony, but then once it is a home colony, it is a home planet. So if it was just a foreign colony, it's not really a home planet yet. So it's a little bit tricky here with rose quartz, but we ignore that for the time being. This is pretty straightforward. So I lost, as the Kilonova system, I lost an encounter as the defense, so I've merged this planet. Now I only have 4 home planets. Now, of course, the power thing it's not change. So once, if this merges a lot, I'm going to lose my alien power, but then I only need 2 foreign colonies to win the game. So as a Kilonova, you are definitely incentivized to lose. So maybe other people will be like, why don't we make a deal here? Rather than, it's better to advance your score than to make it fewer home colonies or foreign colonies for you to win. So that's how Kilonova works. Our next one is the collision system. So this one already starts off, we've got stacked. So you can see from the diagram there, you are stacked, and it does explain. And you can start with 7 of your ships on 2 of your planets and 6 on your other one. And you only need to have 2 planets, colonies on 2 planets to keep your alien power. So you're going to stack 2 of the planets. And then at the start of any player's turn, you may move one of the planets that you have stacked onto the planet in your system that isn't stacked. And when you do so, you may leave some of the ships that were on the planet behind on the new 1 high planet. So that means is I'm going to take these ships right here, and you might say, yeah, I'm going to move this planet over to here. I'm going to leave these guys behind, and I'm going to leave one of those guys behind as well. And so this has collided with that one. And look at that. I've given a foreign colony, an extra foreign colony to yellow. So if this causes a player to gain an additional foreign colony, you may draw a card from the deck for each of that player's ships on the newly formed 2 high planet. So I did this. I would get 3 cards. And if I had done that to a couple of players, let's say I'd left one of these blue ones behind and given blue an extra foreign colony as well, with let's say 3 ships there, then I would get to draw 3 more cards for that. So from the deck, and you may do this for each player. So if you make a stack and cause a player to lose a foreign colony, then that player gets to draw a card from the deck for each foreign colony that player now has. So you can screw people up as well. And, if I'm stacking this way, and I've just kind of done that, and so both blue and yellow have lost a foreign colony, they're going to get to draw cards, and it would just be what is their score. So if they were like this, blue would get to draw 2 cards, yellow would get to draw 1. So you're more incentivized, I think, to give people the foreign colony, but you're limited in how much you can really do that. So it's kind of a weird thing. So I enjoy it very much. I don't know if this would be yellow. I haven't put an alert level on this one. That was sort of the last thing that we were doing in our play testing, was just getting a consensus on what the alert level would be for this, keeping in mind that just by adding in special systems, it's a slightly more complex than your average variant for Cosmic Encounter. So with that as your new baseline, what would be green, what would be yellow, what would be red? So this one, possibly green, maybe yellow. There's a little bit of nuance here to trying to decide what you're going to do with it. But again, because there's only so much that you can do, it's pretty easy to figure out. So that is how the collision system works. Our next one is the Cepheid system. So it does have some components. You've got a token that has a temperature side and a diameter side, but that's it. That's not really placed anywhere. It's just something you're going to be using. So standard everything else. So, and when you're a main player, so this is a main player, offense or defense, in the launch phase, you will place your Cepheid token next to the hyperspace gate, choosing which side is face up. If the diameter side is face up, you're going to add the number of your ships on foreign colonies in the adjacent system. So if this is where this is, and let's say that you've got a couple of ships there and a couple of ships over here, you're going to be able to add those ships in the adjacent systems to your total. And what this does is it now incentivizes you as the Cepheid player to put a lot of ships on foreign colonies. That's not normally the case. Normally you're like, well, two. I want to have at least two for all those crazy effects like ship zap or stuff like that that will target a single ship, and now you've lost your foreign colony. But in most cases, people aren't desperate to put a lot of ships on foreign colonies. But in this case, you are, because you're going to be able to, in a lot of the encounters, you're going to be able to add those ships to your total if you wish. So certainly in a 6-7 8-player game, the Cepheid player is going to be a little bit struggling more. It'll be more powerful in lower player counts. If the temperature side is face up, you're going to add the number of ships on foreign colonies in the targeted system. So that does not specify any player. That's anybody's ships that are on foreign colonies. So in this case here, it's the purple system, but we've got 3 ships. So that's 6 if we're targeting this system here. And let's say, green is going after a colony here. They're going to get to add this +6 if they want to do that. So it gives them some flexibility of which way they want to pulse with their Cepheid token. And next we have the energy efficient system. So no special tokens here. It's pretty straightforward. Standard setup. And a real simple. So as the main player, and this is main players, offense or defense, at the end of the alliance phase, you're going to draw a card from each player who has a colony in your system, and then you're going to draw a card from the deck and add all of these cards to your hand. And then you're going to assign a card from your hand to each player you just took a card from, and you're going to discard one. So you won't end up with any additional number of cards, but what you're doing is you are upgrading your cards is really what you're doing. You're like, yeah, we're so efficient that we're getting rid of the waste cards and we're keeping the better cards. So it's a great way for you to just cycle up on what you've got, because you're always, you're going to get that one from the deck as well. So a nice little bit of an unknown quantity, an X Factor card that you will get in there. So yeah, this is a really good system. It's a green alert because it's very easy to understand, and it's pretty easy to look at the cards and go, all right, because it's great. You're looking at your whole hand at this point and saying, all right, what do I want to get rid of? And every once in a while, yeah, you're going to give somebody something good, but that's probably because you also took something good from somebody. So maybe you give them back what you took from them. But at least you also know that they have that card. That's nice. A little bit of card knowledge on there. So energy efficient system. And then our last one for this preview is the portal system. So this one, you're actually going to have some flare cards. So evenly distributed 3 planets to keep your power. You're going to draw 5 flares from the quote-unquote unused flare deck. We're using it again. So I just have the flare deck. That's what they should have gone with. And you're going to place 1 face down behind each of your planets. You get to see these cards. You know what they are. So whenever you lose an encounter as the defense, you can either add that corresponding flare card to your hand, or you may remove it from the game and take the alien sheet for that flare, as long as it doesn't have the cannot use, game setup, blah, blah, or alternate win, and exchange it for your current alien power, removing that from the game as well. So this gives you some flexibility. You can be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just take this grudge flare, or maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe my turn is about to come up, so maybe I'll be hate. And I've got a rare card that lets me just really screw everybody up pretty badly. And nobody knows what flare is there when they're targeting. So they're coming for you. They may be coming here, and you're like, oh, do I want to lose? Do I want to be the void? Maybe I just want to get that void flare. So you have some incentive to lose, depending on what the flare is. If you want to be that alien, or if you want to just get that card. And then on a subsequent encounter, on any of your home planets that doesn't have a flare card, if you win the encounter, you may draw a new flare from that deck and put it face down behind that planet. So you don't want to lose all the time, and especially because you do need to keep at least 3 of these planets. If somebody beats you here and you're like, all right, I added this one. So green, has gotten a colony, and you're like, your ships are all in the warp. And then white is coming for you. And they're like, I want to get one here because you don't have this effect. So now you're like, maybe I do want to win so that I can get a new flare to put on here. Otherwise, everyone's just going to keep targeting this planet. So, the only thing is if these guys, have colonies there, you don't have to worry about them coming here again if your color comes up. But it's not going to come up that many times, especially in a higher player count like we have here. In a lower player count, this is going to fire a lot more often. And what's great is, this... Let's say you do lose your alien power, you still have the portal system ability. This doesn't go away. So if you win a subsequent encounter after you've lost your power, you possibly will get your power back at some point. Or if you do get your power back, you'll be able to do some stuff. But you can keep getting those flares or changing your alien that you don't have any power for if you don't have enough colonies. There's no... The number of the planets, these effects are not tied to how many of these you control. So that is it. So we will do another round of Mobius Tube, where I will talk with a few Cosmic Superfans about these systems here, and what they think of them, and if they've been playtesting, how that's been going, and get their insights. But you can certainly start sharing your comments on these 7 systems from the proposed Cosmic Universe expansion that would have added these in, as well as a big box and a bunch of new aliens as well. So that is it for this video, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.